What defined my moral code? This is Jay. While some atheists call upon reciprocal respect for each individual's social needs, and some Christians, the will of God, there's actually a bit of both existing in each side of the equation, where the will of God is the participation in His work of His created individualities at the rate they grow in morality and science, expanding creation from within and in unique ways. An example, therefore, of a moral code that can satisfy both ends stems from the comprehension of the works of a Creator that in His perfection is capable of envisioning a system that allows a progressive growth that is dependable on individual choices and preferences or lack thereof. A universe where in His image every point of consciousness is capable to create and responsible for its creation to the degree of their comprehension. In the sense that I described, moral code becomes individual self-interest, hence internal motivation to grow and learn, while respecting others as oneself without necessarily having to acknowledge the existence of God until proper moral development or consciousness advancement in comprehension of the original simplicity of a perfect system
is internalized, therefore understood and acknowledged.
How atheist beliefs contributes to create less misery and conflict than Christian beliefs. So, behavior is dictated by the feelings a person has, and those by their thoughts, and their thoughts by what I would call sense of identity. Not one of these ideas are fully open to empirical scrutiny, so by definition, certainty can only be achieved by deductions that experience approves as trustworthy, which in turn becomes an unquestionable idea. Why unquestionable? Because you don't give it a thought any longer. You simply trust it will work as it has in the past, even though you never gave a thought or fully understood its complete internal mechanism and their correlation. As an example, many of us drive across long distances in a vehicle simply believing it will work, having no idea exactly how it works. Nevertheless, never questioning the integrity or the existence of an engineer, or even finding reasons to, because previous experience satisfy immediate need, if any. A friend mentioned on his YouTube channel the following: so, place belief is to say you are making a statement about reality or the universe and choosing to live your life as if that statement's truth, without bothering to verify, find evidence for it, or seek any sort of validation for that statement. That is what I believe and faith is. And then he goes on to say it's not a virtue in any way to have a belief. Alright, if that was the case, we would bother verifying, finding evidence, or seek any sort of validation for why things work the way they do, other than rely on other people's experience or even ours. We would not rely on engineers. For in terms of perfection in functional systems, the cause of universal order, precision and constant cohesive balance in everything known and unknown to man must be deserving of some credit. There is no doubt that Christianity has been a channel through which its members' weaknesses spoke louder than their comprehension of the importance of their task. And unfortunately, church became also, and to some degree over these past centuries, an instrument of power in the hands of few atheists or uneducated, uninformed believers moved by superstition, ignorance, violence, and ambition. No wonder many can look at God as a joke and still be sincere when they express their feelings. The newcomers, though, have set themselves to accomplish the impossible: to change theoretical bullshit by calling some of the brightest young ones to wake up and let go of the old bag of rubbish and get real. To speak of a God they sincerely believe, even if to do so they have to let go of personal preferences, and more specifically, personal dogmas and paradigms, to go find what there is really to find out about God, and then return with something more meaningful. Belief then will be an assessment of what one honestly thinks and live by, rather than excuse to have an audience and satisfy self-interest. Nevertheless, in self-honesty, an atheist would not play victim and require proof, to only then invest in personal research, personal growth, and a more expanded awareness of what exactly is going on, since for the most part, they agree that it is reasonable to assume that belief must be informed assessment of what one defines as a cohesive interpretation of the why and how of all that is. If Christians and atheists were to find that their motivation seek to feed personal pride, would they realize that it is okay not to know everything? Therefore, you must be by definition constantly self-transcending, responsibly. In other words, one would not identify oneself with any limited point of view for the sake of being right. Whereas, it is not okay to pretend to be expressing a sincere opinion when truly one is not. Mostly, we, as a race, don't understand the basics such as our position in relationship to what we observe, because our judgment is clouded by self-interest. Moreover, our self-interest is based on assumptions that have us functioning from a fear-based perspective that don't serve us well. The evidence of the existence of God lies upon the very axiom we apply in our sciences, that there is no effect without cause. There is knowledge we lack to fully realize the intricacies in the works of the most ordinary engineer, such as the idea that the majority of us don't understand why the mechanisms were created to work the way they do, and how exactly they work. Yet, none of us say the machine simply appeared from nowhere. To conclude, I would like to say that our worldview will always be subjected to scrutiny, and its purpose is to evolve into a better, more encompassing way to interpret and define reality, and how we can make the best out of our brief stay as guests of Earth, in self-honesty, with or without God. This is Jay.